Okay, so we've had a very successful summer garden this year. It went great. We had tons of tomatoes, bunches and bunches. I'd say, wow, just mini baskets like that right there full of peppers and things. Those are some small watermelons on top and some basil. But at any rate, I've stripped the garden out, pulled up all the peppers. You can see where I've pulled those up. Plus, I've just taken a mattock and I've chunked all the ground up. I'm trying to get, all the weeds and everything out, and I think I've done a pretty good job. There's still some roots and stuff from the peppers there. The asparagus, we're going to, of course, let that keep on growing. So that was a good asparagus bed. Everything over here was, we had cucumbers and we had strawberries over here. You see where the pine needles are, that's where the strawberries were. We've moved those. And so we're going to, I've chunked all this up with a mattock just to make sure that the ground can breathe. I'm going to rake it down a little bit, then I'm going to put bags of Miracle-Gro. This side over here, the very end, I've already done that. And what we're getting ready to plant for the fall is kale. Kale and Swiss chard and various other winter plants. So I'm using a Miracle-Gro garden soil and trying to prepare the ground about like that. I'll probably rake over it again just to get it a little bit smoother. I'm trying to make it shut so that the top soil is probably, I would say, half Miracle-Gro, half this soil that's in here, which had a lot of Miracle-Gro soil in it already. And we'll probably put a little bit of 10-10-10 in there. And then see how the winter garden grows with kale and just other kind of winter crops. Okay, so here the whole thing is prepped now. I've got the topsoil probably, I'd say about the top 6 inches of it, half Miracle-Gro and half soil that's been here before. So I used Miracle-Gro garden soil. I smoothed everything out. So I've got it nice and hopefully prepared to put our kale and other winter garden seeds and stuff into the ground. Okay, so here I am, a little update of the raised bed garden. This is all kale growing in here. And gee, it's not even been 2 weeks since I planted this. I followed the instructions of one of my church members, father, one of my friends. And he said basically just once you've got the loose soil, and that's a lot of Miracle-Gro there as you might have seen in the previous videos, and just mixed with regular topsoil. But once you've got that all loosened up really good and chunked up, just sprinkle the seed on top of it and maybe just scratch it a little bit with a rake. So I used a garden rake and just kind of forked it down in it like that with the garden rake. And so I got the seed just a little bit down into the ground. It doesn't need to be buried very far. He said you could just put it on there and spray it with a hose and it would still grow. But so this is, I think, less than 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks worth of growth, something like that. Of course, there's our asparagus still. And what I've got over here, there's little bits of spinach coming up. I did that the same way. It's a little bit slower coming up, it looks like. But there's spinach coming up there. There's Swiss chard coming up here, and that's coming up pretty well. So there's little bitty sprigs there of that. And what's really gone crazy are these turnip greens. So these are turnip greens here. Planted all three of these the same way. Just made sure the soil was nice and loose, mixed up real well. And then sprinkled the seeds on top of the soil. Took a rake, scratched it in a little bit, and started watering them. Of course, we've had some good rain here lately. You can see we had rain last night the way the asparagus ferns are tipped over. So it looks like there might be some grass or something mixed in with that. I don't know what that is. It's like little pieces of grass coming up. I hope that's not true. Interesting. I guess we're going to see what comes up out of this. So we got turnip greens, Swiss chard, hopefully spinach. I see little bits of what looks like spinach coming up. And then a whole lot of kale back this direction. And today is September 6th. And so let's see how it goes. I'll check back in about 2 weeks and we'll see how things have progressed.